Jim Davidson stuns the studio. What he said about Sunak and Starmer left viewers speechless. You know those moments where everything stops, and everyone in the room just stares in silence? Yeah, this was one of those moments. Jim Davidson, comedian, commentator, and someone who's never held back, walked into a studio to talk politics. And what came out of his mouth shocked the hosts, left the producers scrambling, and instantly lit up social media. Because in under 2 minutes, Davidson managed to do what most political pundits can't say: exactly what millions of people are thinking, but rarely say out loud. And when he dropped his take on Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer, let's just say, the entire tone of the broadcast changed. It happened during a late-night current affairs show on GB News, one of those roundtable political chats where guests debate the state of the nation. Davidson was the wild-card guest. You could see the tension even before he spoke. The topic: has the public lost faith in UK leadership? Most guests gave the usual answers: it's complicated, we need unity, let's wait and see after the election. Then it was Davidson's turn. And he didn't hold back. He leaned forward and said, "Let me be straight, Sunak's running a country he doesn't understand, and Starmer's running from the country he's supposed to represent." Boom. Silence. Then the host nervously laughed, trying to move the conversation on. But Davidson wasn't done. He continued, "The average British citizen feels completely ignored. These leaders are more worried about pleasing international elites than they are about the bloke struggling to pay his energy bill." Social media exploded. Clips of Davidson's comments hit X, TikTok, and Instagram within minutes. One viral post read, "Jim Davidson just said what half the country's been thinking and the media's too scared to admit." Another wrote, "You don't have to agree with everything Jim says, but that was raw, unfiltered, and 100% honest." Even critics of Davidson, and there are many, were forced to acknowledge the moment. A well-known political commentator tweeted, "Say what you want about Davidson, but the silence in that studio said everything." Some accused him of being reckless or provocative, but others praised him for cutting through the noise. Let's be real, Britain's political scene is tense right now. Rishi Sunak is battling criticism from within his own party. Keir Starmer is being accused of playing it too safe. And the public, tired, frustrated, suspicious. That's why Davidson's blunt commentary didn't just go viral, it resonated. Because he put words to a feeling many can't quite articulate. A sense that the leaders aren't listening. That the media's glossing over the discontent. And that normal political language has become too polished, too cautious to reflect the anger on the streets. One online commenter summed it up best. Davidson didn't say anything extreme. He just said it like it is, and that alone shook everyone. Davidson's comments tapped into something deeper: a growing credibility gap between politicians and the public. Sunak is seen by some as disconnected, focused more on spreadsheets than street-level struggles. Starmer, while positioning Labour as the safe option, has been called out for avoiding firm stances on major issues like immigration, free speech, and national identity. Davidson called it out directly. They talk like they're managing a brand, not leading a nation. They sound like PR people, not patriots. That line has been quoted everywhere. And whether you think it's fair or not, it sparked a real debate. Do Britain's political leaders actually understand the emotional pulse of the nation? Or are they just trying to survive the headlines? Let's make this clear: this wasn't a stand-up routine. This was Davidson in full-on citizen commentator mode. And the fact that his words caused such a stir tells us a lot about where the public conversation is heading. People aren't looking for perfect policies, they're looking for realness. They want to know their leaders care more about them than international applause or media appearances. And when someone, even a polarizing figure like Jim Davidson, points that out, it hits differently. Davidson walked out of that studio without apologizing, without backtracking, and without taking questions. But his message stuck. And now, the political world is trying to figure out how to respond. Do they ignore him, dismiss it as just another rant, or finally admit that voices outside the political class are shaping the public mood faster than Parliament can draft a statement? Because here's the truth. Davidson's not the only one talking like this. He just happened to say it where the cameras were rolling. So while the studio might have been stunned, the real shock is coming in the next election. Because if voices like Davidson's continue to gain traction while political leaders stick to the same rehearsed lines, something's going to give. And as one comment read, if the establishment is scared of one man with a microphone, imagine how they'll handle millions of angry voters. The question now isn't what Davidson said. It's why it hit so hard. And if that message keeps spreading, Sunak and Starmer better be ready for more than just a few uncomfortable interviews.